This is not one of those videos that has a title like 10 Tips for Starting Carnivore. Plenty of others have made those, and so have I. This video is a bit more serious. I've been churned up about something these last few days, and that is the number of people that seem to start carnivore or to start implementing changes to reform their health and to take responsibility for their health, and then within a few days it's all gone south and they go right back to where they were before they started, and it just breaks my heart. So today I don't want to talk about tips. I don't want to give you some suggestions to help you get going. We've done that before, as I said. Today I want to talk about something that I think is much more important for you, and that is your mindset. What is mindset? Mindset is what's going on up here in your head, what you fundamentally believe to be true. Whether or not you speak it out doesn't matter, but you believe, you've got certain things that you believe to be true, and they guide everything you do in life. I think to really be successful sometimes, we've got to examine our mindset. Let me take you back to 12 months ago when I started carnivore. I didn't start out of some curiosity. I started because I realized that the trajectory of my life was leading to a destination that I did not want, and I had to make some changes. I was headed to a future that was filled with doctors and pills and tests and poor health and hobbling around and probably diabetes, heart condition, arthritis, inflammation. The list goes on and on. That was going to be my future. I was 68 years old, and I had the foresight to know that if I don't change things, I'm going to be in trouble, and very, very soon. It was a wake-up call that I had to change what I believed to be true, and that in turn had to change my life. I wonder if you could do that for a moment as we start today. If you look at your life as it is now, I don't know how old you are, but I'm guessing if you're watching me, you probably got a few years under your belt. I want you to play out the timeline of your life. You've got enough life experience and you've got enough knowledge to be able to do this. If you were to continue your life exactly the way you're living it now and doing all the things that you're doing now, where does that road lead? You see, you've got to know where your present pathway is going to take you. You need to do some work on this. You need not just to casually jot down a few thoughts. You need to get away and meditate on this and dwell on it and really examine your life and where you're going in life. You see, mindset really matters because we're all going somewhere. And maybe you need to start with a reality check. You're not 25 anymore. Hello? Your body doesn't bounce back like it used to. You haven't got the energy and the strength that you had a few years ago. It seems like only yesterday you were able to do all sorts of things that now you're really struggling to do. And maybe suddenly your life is filled with tablets and medications and doctors and specialists and x-rays and blood tests. And so it goes on and on and on. You're spending a fortune in money on medications and doctors. You're spending a fortune in time. Your whole life is doctors and medications. And look, it doesn't have to be that way. But you need to have some sort of a wake-up call. I wanted to really encourage you today to get away and to think about this very strongly, because it's your life, it's your health, and it's your future. Some of us realize we've got to change from being a dabbler in diets and health to making some hard, cold, firm decisions that we're going to act on starting immediately. I want to break mindset down for you into 3 different fundamental pillars. These are 3 things that I believe are essential in you and I establishing what our mindset is. I think the starting point is to know your why. Why do you want your health back? Why do you want to live free from pain and free from medication? We all say we want that, but why do you want it? What is it that you've got to live for? What is it that you want strength and vitality and health for in these perhaps later years of your life? What's your reason? You've got to get away and you've got to wrestle with that. Don't just make it an easy one quick reply. You've got to think this through. You've got to wrestle with this question: what is my why? Why do I want to change? What's at stake if I don't? If I don't change my diet, if I don't change my lifestyle, if I don't change what I'm doing, where's it going to lead me? Is that where I want to go? Know your why. You want to change, you need to change, you have to change, but why? Why? You see, for me, I've got a whole lot more living to do. I want to be fit enough to get in my canoe whenever I feel like going out canoe camping. I want to be fit enough to play with my grandchildren. I'm 68 and I'm having my first grandchild in 2 weeks' time over in London, and I am going with my wife to London for the birth of that grandchild. And I'm really excited. That's a reason why for me. I want to be around to help other people. You see, all my life, my whole life, when I was a pastor, when I was a funeral celebrant, when I was a carer for my dad, my whole life is about caring for people. And everything within me, the way I'm wired, I want to help people. I see people that are struggling with their health, and I know that I could help them if they would let me. And that is part of my why. I wanted to be able to help other people and to see them realize their potential with health and vitality and life, body, soul, and spirit. That's my why. What's your why? You've got to start there. Okay, that's pillar one. Now, pillar number two is this. Pillar number two is realizing that you don't have time to waste. Do you know what a precious gift time is? You probably do if you've lived a few years like I have. You understand the value of a day and how quickly a year goes by. Here we are, 2025, and we're already into April, almost into May, almost half the year gone, and we think it only just started. And we have an appreciation that time is passing quickly, and we've got to make every day count. We've got to live every day. You don't have time to dilly-dally. You don't have time to think, well, look, I might start that when this happens or when that happens. Look, you've got to start now. You've got to start now. You've got to get rid of the excuses. Get rid of every excuse in your book. Stop saying, I'll do it when such and such happens, or I'll do it after this or after that. No. Will never work. Start now. You've got to have a sense of urgency. You've got to say, I'm not waiting any longer. I'm going to change my life. The third pillar in making your mindset real is the pillar of commitment. You've got to make a commitment. Look, you've made commitments before in life, and some of them have served you well and set the direction of your life. You've got to do that again. You've got to make a commitment to your health, to your diet, to your future, to your destiny. Make that commitment today. Now, how do you do that? Well, you write it down somewhere. Get a journal and write all of this down. Why you're starting and what your commitment is. Then I think you've got to do something that I like to call burning the boats or burning your bridges behind you, cutting out any way of return, so to speak. You see, what I did when I started Carnivore is that my wife and I together went through our kitchen, and we got out on the bench every item in the cupboard that had a seed oil or any sort of sugar or sweetener in it, anything that had was processed food, anything in a box with a barcode on it. We put it all out on the bench. We filled up the kitchen counter from one end to the other, and then we put it in garbage bags and we threw it out. We didn't give it away. We didn't want to give that crap to anybody else. We just threw it out, and then we went shopping for some quality meat and some quality eggs. And we set a new direction, and we made a commitment that from this day forward, we are eating meat and we are eating eggs, we are eating salt and we are eating butter. It wasn't complicated. It was incredibly simple. It made our shopping simpler. It made our cupboard simpler. It made our cooking and daily routine simpler. Carnivore is so simple, but that's what we did. That's the first thing we did. And you will do that too if you're serious. You see, if you're going to try and do this and you have all the crap in your cupboard still, and you look at it long enough, you will eat it. Now, I know some people live in households where there's got to be other food there and you have it particularly tough here, but maybe you've got to have your own section of the cupboard and maybe you've got to have some extra strategy to deal with that. But make it serious. Do something that says, I am really serious about this. Do you know the other thing I did? When I started Carnivore, I was taking size 38 jeans. I went out and I bought some size 32 jeans. I didn't buy cheap ones. I bought the expensive ones. And I bought some expensive shirts in size small when I was taking extra, extra large. And I paid for them. And what I did when I got home is I hung them in the wardrobe and I threw away the dockets so I could not return them even if I wanted to. And I had spent serious money on these clothes, and so I was committed now, and then I began to throw out the clothes that I had been wearing. Do you know, today, I'm still wearing size 32 jeans a year later, and I'm still wearing size small shirts, like this beautiful coloured shirt here. I love a bit of colour. Anyway, that's another story. But look, you've got to do things that show you're serious. Have an outward sign of your commitment to this. You've got to do something tangible that is significant for you. What are you going to do to show that you're serious, to show that you made a commitment to this? I just want to say to you today, it's not too late. I don't know how old you are. Like I said, if you're listening to me, you're probably advanced in years because I only seem to attract older people. But look, however old you are, it's not too late to start. You know, in the last fortnight, I would have had a dozen or more people in their 80s who contacted me and told me they were starting over the age of 80. You've got no excuse. You're not too old. You haven't left it too late. You can change today. You can change. You see, the day that you take responsibility for your health, the day you take this seriously, the day you get your mindset right and get your why clear and get your commitment firm, you're going to start changing your life. Things will begin to change. But you know what? You've got to decide to do something. Not just decide something, to do something, because action's got to go with your commitment. So start making some decisions today to do something about your health. I've given you a few suggestions already today, but look, if you're not on the carnivore diet, I'd get on the carnivore diet, even if you need a transition plan. If you're not going to do carnivore, at least do keto or low carb, because that could be a significant transition for you into carnivore if you want to go that way. And then I would encourage you to do some study. Look, there's no shortcuts here. If you do not do some study, if you don't start reading books and listening to YouTube videos and learning more about low carb and learning more about carnivore, learning more about metabolic health and diabetes and heart conditions and gout and arthritis or whatever it is that is affecting you right now, whatever the name the doctor has given you, look, you've got to go and learn. If you bypass this step, you know what's going to happen? Every time somebody says something to you, you're going to be thrown off course. If you learn something, it's going to give you confidence. So you've got to learn. I'm more and more convinced as this, the longer I go. I have read now 40 books on health in the last 12 months, and that for somebody who was never a reader. You've just got to get serious. So I'm calling on you today. Are you ready to go all in? Are you ready to make a commitment? Are you ready to start? Make a strong commitment. Are you with me? Are you with me? I want you to write, I am with you. I am starting. I am committing myself. Something like that. Write something in the comments that tells me you've heard what I've said today and you're taking this seriously. And I can promise you that this will be the most exciting, the most wonderful, the most life-changing, the most thrilling journey of your life, because it's not just about what you eat. It becomes your whole mental framework. Your mental health is at stake. Your clarity in your head is at stake. Your spirituality, why you're here on the planet, what you're here for, what your life purpose is, your family, your children, the values that you have. All of these things are going to crystallize and become focus for you, and you're going to change your whole life. You can absolutely transform your life if you will start today. So look, that's it from me today. That's what I wanted to get off my chest. You can absolutely do this. And look, if you did find this video helpful and you really do need some tips to get started, I will leave a link to this video up here that might help you actually get started in this lifestyle. But look, you've just got to do it. You just got to pull the pin and do it. Look, thanks for watching today. I will see you on the next video, and until then, you keep telling your story. Start today so that you do have a story that's worth telling. Bye for now.